Okay, all right. So, 我们今天要访问的是 Karl Soule 啊，然后我们就每次都会来 NAB 跟他做访问。Hi, Karl. Nice to see you again. Yeah. So I was just in the audience seat. I mean, seeing you doing demo. I've heard that there's a lot of exciting things going on, regarding to the new features of Premieres and After Effects. I know we have very limited time, so why don't we just hand it over to you, and just kind of a quick overview of what you have to offer this year.
Awesome. So some of the new features, there are brand new versions of After Effects, Premiere Pro, Adobe Audition, Media Encoder, and Adobe Character Animator. And we're showcasing a lot of these new features and workflows that we've enabled inside of Premiere Pro. The theme of this show has been powerful alone, unstoppable together. And what this means is using one of the Creative Cloud tools is very, very powerful, but when you combine the workflows across applications, it gives you a wonderful, unstoppable capability of doing whatever you want to do creatively. Here inside of Adobe Premiere Pro, we have a brand new set of tools dealing with color comparison and color matching. So I can actually bring up a comparison view between different shots inside of my timeline, and I can pick between different views of different clips within the timeline. This is exceptionally helpful when we shoot on different cameras, because we can see two different clips shot on different cameras can have decidedly different color going on between these different clips. Now, to match these shots, we obviously could do this by hand, but the power of the Adobe Sensei machine learning technology is built into the color wheels. We're now calling this color wheels and match. And I can choose whether I want Sensei to look at skin tone, look and do face detection. All I have to do is click Apply Match, and it will take the colorimetry from the left-hand side of the display and apply that automatically to what we see on the right-hand side. And you can see that this has now grabbed the colorimetry from the reference monitor, and it's applied it over into the clip. You can see that this is not just a single click on or off effect. This is actually using the color wheels. So these are the settings that the machine learning algorithm has set to match the color from one side to the other. So I can continue to work further with this. If I wanted to just tweak this a little bit more, maybe push the highlights a little bit further up into the yellow here, I can do that to help match this even further. So instead of just being something that you either turn it on or off, I have the full creative flexibility to use this as a starting point, but then make my own decisions from there. And if I want to see this in a split screen view, I can use the different split functions to kind of compare the two shots and see how this looks from one shot to another. Here I can see maybe the midtones. I might want to brighten up the midtones or darken the midtones down just a bit to help to match that in even further. So great tool in the Lumetri color panel for color matching and new comparison views that we have inside of the program monitor. Now, another machine learning tool that we have built into Premiere Pro has to do with audio, and this deals with the Essential Sound panel. So for this, I'm going to switch over to the audio workspace, and using the Essential Sound panel, we introduced this a while back where we can actually assign roles for different parts of my timeline here. So I can select all the clips that are dialogue and choose to mark these as dialogue clips. And when I do this, I have a series of controls that I have that are specific for dialogue. Things like auto-matching loudness. I can very quickly go in and just match the loudness between all the different dialogue clips, even if they were recorded on different days with different microphones. But new inside the Essential Sound panel, we now have something called auto-ducking. So I'm going to go ahead and assign this clip here in my panel as a music clip. And I'll turn on auto-ducking. And when I turn on auto-ducking, I have the capability of setting the auto-ducking tool to duck against different types of audio. So I can set this to duck against the dialogue clips. When I hit generate keyframes, this will automatically generate keyframes, and basically it will listen to where there is dialogue, and it will automatically lower the volume of the music to match so that the dialogue is clear and audible. I can understand what's being said. So by clicking this, again, powered by Adobe Sensei, the auto ducking algorithm has gone in and created all of these individual keyframes, saving me a lot of time in working with the dialogue. And if I want to go back and make changes, if maybe I've reduced the music by too much, I can just dial this back a little bit, hit generate keyframes again, and it will update the keyframes for me automatically. There's a brand new motion graphics workflow between After Effects and Adobe Premiere Pro. We've made a lot of improvements to how motion graphics are created inside of Adobe After Effects. The new master properties within Adobe After Effects keeps me from having to make a lot of duplicates every time I nest a composition inside of another composition. So working inside of After Effects, if I need to put graphics over the top of this background, for example, when I drag and drop the nest and twirl this down, I have a new category here called Master Properties. And these properties are things that I have chosen using the Essential Graphics panel. Back inside of the nested comp, I have gone through all the various layers and picked out some different properties that I want to be able to modify every time I use this composition. So if I see something that's not in here currently, like the rotation value, I can just drag that and drop it up in here so that I can adjust the rotation of the line in this wipe effect inside of this graphic. And now when I switch back over to the master comp, you can see that that property actually shows up down here at the bottom. So each and every time I use this, this master credit nest, in the past I would have to duplicate it to have different properties each time it's being used. Now I can just keep one copy of the nested composition and have these values change each and every time it's being used. The Puppet tool was invented by the After Effects team, and it's been super successful inside of After Effects. It's been so successful, in fact, we've seen the Photoshop team adopt the Puppet tool technology, we've seen the Illustrator team adopt Puppet tool, and we've even built an entire new application that uses Puppet tool technology called Adobe Character Animator. We thought it was time to go in and add some new features to the Puppet tool inside of After Effects. And so what we've done is we've refreshed the engine inside of After Effects so that the old engine would work with kind of a limited number of polygons. You can see the various triangles inside this shot. A denser amount of polygons will mean more accurate stretching and distorting of this graphic if I want to start to animate it. So the older method only used a small number of polygons. The new improved Puppet engine will use a much higher density of these triangles. The mesh becomes much more dense. And on top of that, as I add pins close together, it will increase the density automatically between the pins because it will need to stretch that, and we want to make sure that the animation that we're doing is accurate and it doesn't make the image being stretched and changed to fall apart and create artifacting. Now, in addition to just adding additional points, we've also added some new controls that work with how different points get animated. So if I come in here to this example, and I'm just going to twirl down the puppet effects so that you can see this, we have a new feature in the new advanced Puppet engine called Mesh Rotation Refinement. So the idea behind this, if I use the old legacy engine, I'll go ahead and select the mesh here and come up to this and grab this point. If I wanted to make this flag wave, well, I'd have to add a bunch more points to make that happen. This is not moving like the way I would expect a flag to move. But if I come to the advanced function, this new mesh rotation refinement control lets me keep the same number of points. I can just have a simple control point here, But now I can come in and actually control how the different points interact with each other. So if I dial this value down significantly, now I'm starting to get more of a flag wave. And if I move this even further, you can see now I'm starting to get the type of animation that I would expect a flag to do when it's moving around here. So a lot of nice new tools dealing with the puppet tool within After Effects. There's many more new features I don't have time to cover today. Adobe Audition can now open Premiere projects directly, and there's new tools in Audition for matching sound effects to the picture. We also have a brand new version of Character Animator with new learning tutorials built into the Learn page inside of Character Animator, as well as new refinements to the triggers and the ability to use kind of what we call an onion skin mode to see a previous take of an animation to line up your motion so that you can pick up and not see any difference. When you're moving from like take 1 to take 2, you can start in the same exact position as what was in take 1. So there's a lot of nice new enhancements there. Media Encoder, probably the biggest new feature, is hardware-based acceleration for H.264 and HEVC encoding. So this should make Media Encoder and Premiere Pro roughly 7 times faster than it was before.